Welcome to Brian Rue Show, where we have the highest standard of truth in Canada. This is October the 1st, 2020, and I'm back with Ryan. He's had several UFO sightings, so he's going to relate this to us. I love to collect people's UFO sightings. He lives right here in Vancouver. So let's hear Ryan.
Oh, hi, Brian. Thanks for having me on yet a third time. Thank you. Didn't know it was that interesting, but anyhow, you were wanting to talk to me about my UFO experiences.
Yeah.
And, that's a word to call it. I like to call them discs.
Ah.
I like to just call them discs, flying discs.
You mean like flying saucers?
Flying saucers, yes. So
wow.
I just always call them discs. So that's what I'll refer to them as. And I've had three sightings, good sightings, close up. And, I've seen a million airplanes and helicopters and you name it. Sometimes they can play tricks with you on the horizon. And, people can easily get fooled and think it's a UFO. And, but I saw it and it was blinking and yet it was an airplane. It had people on. There was, 180 people on board. So it's not UFO, but the cases when you know it, and there's no question as to what it was. The only question is who is it? But I had never seen a UFO for years and years, and I spent a lot of time stargazing. Bit of an astronomer, backyard astronomer, and I had logged a lot of time over my life, a lot of hours, and I'd never seen a UFO. And I was in Peru in 2005, and the only two people on the entire trip that I asked if they had ever seen a UFO both said yes. I didn't ask any other people, but the only two I asked did say yes. I thought that was very unusual. And they had neat stories. I can't really remember them at this point, but why don't I get to see a UFO? Well, a year later I did in the Squamish Valley. I was with my girlfriend and we were camping, and a craft that would be, I would say, an accurate estimation of at least 100 feet came overhead at a distance of about 300 yards. I would say.
That's only about 40 miles for the audience. Squamish is just past Vancouver, north of Vancouver.
Yeah. And it came directly over us, and underneath there were 5, like in a circle, 5 red lights. They weren't round. They were not round lights. They were, like car brake lights that are, they're formed. They're like rectangular kind of thing. So they were like that. That was the shape of the lights. And they were all red, and it came over absolutely silently. We both saw it. We both knew what it was. We didn't even have to talk to each other. And then it just left. It just went gone. Just straight up and gone. Like a bullet would have been sitting still.
Like straight to space?
I guess so.
Like out of sight, you mean?
Yeah, straight out of sight. That's for certain.
Wow.
But it was leaving us. You could tell it was leaving us just as it was gone. Like you could tell that it was leaving. So.
Do you think it was aware of you?
I would think so. I think if you're on one of those crafts, what's going down, but going down on the ground below you. You're pretty.
Were you
have
camping
a good. You would have good knowledge of that. I would think. Yeah. I mean, they would be able to tell where there's a bear's den. I'm sure they could just
probably
zone in on it. Oh yeah, so they would know all who's camping and. Yeah. But what they were doing, who knows?
But you were camping?
Yeah.
So this is in the dark at night, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So what year was that?
That was 2006.
Wow.
Yeah, that was 2006. And then in 2007, I went with a friend of mine, a good friend, and we basically I took us down to the Southwest because that's my place. That's what I love. And so I just he was just came for the ride basically, and
Yeah.
I tired him out pretty good with the hiking and everything, and showed him some very, very cool things that he didn't know existed. So we were at the Grand Canyon, and we were there gonna spend a couple nights there, and we were late getting there that day, and we had just got there, and the color had just gone out of everything because it's twilight now. So you can just see some sort of gray and darker gray in the Grand Canyon. And we had done a lot of driving, so we wanted to, and we had walked a fair ways from the car, and we just wanted to sit down and crack a beer and just hang out. And after a little bit, I knew what I was seeing, and I was seeing blinking lights just happening, and I said to my friend, I said, do you notice anything unusual? He says, yeah. He says, yeah. I'm like, oh, good, okay, you do too. And as it became just a little bit darker, more lights were coming out on this craft, and it was a disc, but it was on a diagonal slant. This disc. And it was spinning around. It was spinning around, slowly spinning around, and lights were blinking on it. But not only were they blinking, but they were actually changing colors, which was kind of neat. It actually kind of looked like the Millennium Falcon. Everybody knows what that looks like.
Star Wars.
Except without that little chunk that's cut out.
It's more round to me.
At front, yeah, it was
Circular.
round. It was round, but it looked like the Millennium Falcon, but very.
So it was a flying
very round.
saucer?
Yeah, it would have to be, and it was huge. I mean, the size of that. I mean, that would have had to have been, a few hundred feet across, because it was moving. It was not only was it seemed to be having problems because it was on a diagonal, like this, a slant, and it seemed to be having a problem to me.
Was it in the Grand Canyon?
It was in the canyon. It was in the canyon.
And you're
it
at
was
the edge of
moving.
the canyon looking down?
Yeah, that's right. And it was freezing cold, really windy, and very cold. And anyhow.
What year was this?
This was 2007, so this is the next year. And it would move in distances that would be like at least a mile or a mile or two, like in just a couple seconds, and then move back, coming back and forth. It would move.
It was moving fast.
Canyon. Yeah, but it looked so slow. I guess because it is so big that it just looks slow, but it's just covered a mile in 2 or 3 seconds.
Like going back and forth within the canyon.
Back and forth and up and down and up and down.
Oh, up and down.
Up and down. Yeah.
Wow.
We watched it. We watched it for hours.
For hours?
Yeah, we were so
That's a
cold.
long time
It was so cold. It was so cold, and it was so windy. And
So you're making excuses for leaving the site of the UFO.
So hungry that we thought it could be doing this exact same thing all night. We don't know.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Yeah.
So maybe in hindsight we should have got fed, and I should have drove back.
So you left. You went back in the car. You mean?
Yeah, we went back and we weren't set up. We had to get motel and food.
But often people see UFOs for a number of seconds or a minute. So hours is very impressive.
This is a long time. Yeah.
Like more than an hour or 2 hours?
2 hours. 2 hours. A little over 2 hours.
It's
probably.
amazing.
2 hours. Yeah.
Any pictures, photographs?
Yeah. No. Stupidly, no. That's all I can say is stupidly, no.
Well, back in 2007, we didn't have cell phone cameras.
The camera I had back then still wouldn't have caught it. I don't think it would have caught. Maybe it would if you knew what you were doing with the camera, which I certainly
Because
don't.
taking pictures at night.
Maybe they could have caught something.
If you knew how to do a timed exposure, because at night, right?
Yeah, that's right. A timed exposure. My friend could do it.
Did you guys talk about taking a picture?
I'm not a photographer. No, we didn't. We didn't actually talk about it. I'm not sure why we didn't.
Did you think about a photo?
Yeah. I think that we were just watching it and not believing our eyes for the longest time because of the size of it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no. In hindsight, stupid. Try and take a picture. It wouldn't have worked anyways, as I said. But have a professional photographer with you at all times.
But I know the Grand Canyon is a mysterious place. There's Egyptian artifacts found there in 1909 that the Smithsonian hid. So it's a mysterious, supernormal place.
That's what they do. All the mounds in the plains of the
And
U.S.
the Indians know about it too.
The
Indians know it's very
plains,
mysterious.
the mound pyramids, they're all mowed over and large skeletons taken out. And all disappeared. All disappeared.
But anything else about that site?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say so. You hate to walk away from one. But
So is
if
this
you think
winter
it's gonna
time
do
or
that,
summer?
It was in the fall. But you're up at a high altitude and it's desert and
I've been there
it's
myself in
freezing,
2013.
right? I mean, it's freezing.
Yeah.
And really windy. So